Okay. You see, what is the worst thing? What is the worst thing that can happen to a person in this society? And at first glance, you will think about terrible things like, crimes and violence and all this shit. All this promoted shit in the television. But then, all of a sudden, maybe after hours of forgetting about the question, you come to a sudden conclusion, and it means for you that, sorry, no, craziness, that's the worst thing that can happen to you in society. That society calls you crazy, mentally ill or handicapped. A mental illness takes you completely out of society. No chance of having a bank account, no chance of having anything on your name, no chance of being able to take any decision in this so regulated, normal world. You stop to exist. You're alive, but socially you're dead. You're a dead citizen. You're not allowed to do anything. You can't even vote. You can't take a plane on your own. Okay, you can walk, you can take a bus, maybe a train, depends. Depends on the country. You're so limited. Now you kill a person. You go out and you kill a person. You get, I don't know, depends, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and they come out of prison. Nothing happens. You can have a bank account. You can go on a plane. You don't have to ask for permission. Nobody will control you. Nobody will be able to stop you if you want to go to a place or do something. Yeah, they can say that you're a criminal, but people will still shake your hand. Being a criminal is normal in society. Normal. That's the society. That's what they call normal. Normed. So even a terrible crime after some time is a normed thing and within the society. But craziness is outside. So, listen, I know people who, 60, 70, no, 60 now, 70, 80 years old. 80 years old people living here in my city. Nice couples sometimes. Still couples. Oh. And they're simple people. They know things, but they know things they have done all their lives, and learning and school and internet and all this sort of, no. Nope. They worked. They somehow reached a certain age. And one day they look out of the window and, in front there's always this house of their 70-year neighbor, who they consider somebody very young and arrogant. And they look at the house and the house is not there. There stands now a cathedral. And she wakes him up and says, "Listen, buddy, but you have to see that." And he crawls out of the bed and, Rheuma, shitty Rheuma, humid climate, cold, and he's swearing. Yeah, but, I mean, he comes, he arrives to the window and looks out and says, "What do you mean? Where are my glasses?" And then he sees what. I mean, a cathedral, you can't avoid seeing a cathedral if it's just in front of your window, like 20 meters away, just on the other side of the road, where all their life they had seen a house there, not a cathedral. So what do? They both know. But what will they do? Will they go outside and ask the neighbor? Of course they do. And what will the neighbor say? Obviously the same as them. There was no cathedral before. But when they talk to the neighbor looks at them and is just shaking their head and is trying to avoid saying anything else, because, that's when people stop saying what they have seen, because they don't want to be seen as crazy people. Craziness is the worst thing in society. So, you have seen umami. And umami has shown you that there are things that change, and they change. And they don't change because we changed them, they change because they are changed. Now what happens to somebody who doesn't know all what we have been scratching from the surface of lies? They just think that they have gone crazy. The Mandela Effect, when it happens on a local place or in a local society, is devastating. Most of the people immediately stop believing in themselves. They don't trust any longer their senses. They don't trust what they think or see. They just don't trust it. But it's not outside. They don't trust themselves. It's inside. And that is the moment when Alzheimer virus expands and attacks. And I think, and I may be very, very wrong with that, and if so, I apologize in advance. What a burden. But what a burden if I'm right and I don't say it. The last month has been this fight inside of me. And if I'm wrong, what? And if I'm right, what? I don't want to be wrong or right. I just want to explain it. But sometimes you explain things that are very important. And this is an important one. This is a big one. If I'm right, then Alzheimer is directly connected in all of us to the moment when we do not trust any more in ourselves. We stop believing in ourselves, and we stop trusting in ourselves. Not believing, it's trusting in our senses and what we see, perceive, or know. That's when Alzheimer attacks. Because Alzheimer is, in my opinion, an artificially created virus introduced in the food, in the air, everywhere. And it attacks immediately when the only defense we have against it, which is believe in ourselves and trust ourselves, goes down. And the virus is fabricated, produced, and distributed to destroy all the people that notice the changes. That's why craziness is, in this society, the worst thing that can happen to you. And not craziness. It's not the craziness. It's the exclusion you will suffer. And then they steal your rights and your liberty completely. So the virus combined with this propaganda, systematic inoculation of weird feelings about crazy people in society, nullifies practically the perception of changes. A vast majority of this society has witnessed big changes, changes that are not explainable by science. And they do not talk about it because they don't want to be seen as crazy people. And I can understand that. And I can share with them this feeling of, I cannot tell this. If I tell this, people will lock me out, will lock me away, you see? Lock me in. Lock me away, I think it is. You see, I share with all of you who are listening to this feeling. I know what it means to have seen things that cannot be true. And if you tell them, people would say you're crazy. Umami is here to help you. Umami is a lot more than a Mandela effect. So, Alzheimer cannot be found in the brain, in the head. Alzheimer attacks directly our brain in the small intestine, the big brain, the 200 times brain. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there is a video about our true brain, or a second brain, or a first brain, whatever you want. I think it's called The Key, Finally, or Finally the Key, or something like that. Check it out. It's about the brain is in your stomach, not in your head. Your head is only a sensorial brain that takes information and sends it down to the small intestine, who really processes everything, who takes decisions, decision taker and maker. Now the virus is always there, and when we stop believing in or trusting our senses, we abandon them. And that's when Alzheimer is able to attack the sensorial brain. And the first parts that go away are the parts of memory, which means what Alzheimer does, it's attacking from inside up, from down upwards. So the first part he reaches is the connector. So memory is not in the brain. Memory is mostly in the small intestine. What Alzheimer destroys is the connection. But we had started destroying our sensorial brain in the moment we didn't trust our senses any longer. This is instinctive. It is like I'm a danger to others. We cannot stop that. The moment you don't trust your senses any longer, you are destroying your central brain physically. So when doctors make autopsies of patients who died from Alzheimer, what they say, they find the brain mostly destroyed, necrosis. And I'm very sorry, but there is no virus to be found in the necrosis. The virus could be found, I'm sure of it, in the small intestine. That's where it really is. And the brain they are analyzing died in a suicidal move. And last not least, have a look at this funny word. I mean, it's not funny, it's a name. Alzheimer. You see, the problem with these people is that they cannot avoid that the names are changed so we can see where a hoax is. So if you look at Alzheimer, you will see that Heimer is home, Homer, Heimer, Homer. Same word, German, English, English, German. Same word. So, Heim is heaven. Als, I mean, there are many possibilities for als. One is directional, als, or like home, like home. You see, if somebody has seen a change, like there was a house before and now there's a cathedral, how would you imagine is your home? I mean, my home, I know that my home is whatever I want it to be. I can change it in any moment. Not here, this home. I mean, I change it too, but you know what I mean. My home is where I can create the whole world, and in the next moment it's just another thing if I want to. If I need to. If I don't know what to. I could produce changes, constant changes. So when somebody sees one of these big changes happening here, which is the weird thing, but it's nice, it's beautiful, then it's as close as possible to home, als Heim, as home. I hope you find a sense in all what I'm telling you. To me, it makes a huge amount of sense. Love you guys.